him off. And look at this. Here is Gurney challenging Jeff Gordon for the 4th spot in that old black number 30, the beautiful automobile. So there is Steve Butler, right behind him, Mike Bliss, down the back straightaway with these Silver Crown automobiles, about 700 horsepower on methanol, no wings, a driver's kind of race car, and these guys doing a tremendous job here. This is a fine field of race drivers.
And Mike Bliss is all over the place. He'll take any line that is necessary to move up a position. That's the 69 car, the 6 on top of the 9 on the nose of the red and black machine. Boy, he is really going for it, Buck. He doesn't want to be second again.
Well, it works up high, apparently. He's staying up high on the racetrack, but he can't seem to. Now, the last time around, he went low, trying to get underneath Butler, but Butler stays wide and kind of closes him off on the low side. Now he's going to try Butler up high. Look at this. Jeff Gordon in the 1 comes into play a little bit there, but Butler holding him off for 2nd place as they charge down into the dog leg.
And so far, Gordon has run a very consistent line. The middle of the racetrack, then down low through the turns, back up to the middle of the racetrack, not darting around, just content to hang right there for now anyway in that 4th position.
But a man possibly to watch is right behind him in that black number 30. That is Chuck Gurney. Gurney started back in the 10th spot and now is up into 5th.
And here comes Bliss on the outside, the 69 car. Yes, he gets around 10. Steve Butler for the 2nd position. Bliss finally gets it done.
He worked on it for about 3 or 4 laps and finally got around Steve Butler. And now, look at this. The yellow number 20 of Johnny Parsons Jr. moves by Gurney into the 5th spot and begins to challenge Jeff Gordon for 4th.
Oh, and a little bit of smoke coming out of the back of the Johnny Parsons Jr. car, the yellow number 20. He had enough power, enough handling, certainly, to move through this field and get around into that 4th position. That's a car we'll keep our eyes on. There was definitely some smoke out of the machine. It appears to have cleared up now, though.
Member of a great racing family, his late father, Johnny Parsons, won the 1950 Indianapolis 500. But I don't think Johnny Parsons Jr. is going to go to the Cincinnati. Lost an engine as he made his bid for 4th place. I wonder, are we going to get a caution here? Because, yeah, Johnny's signaling everybody by on the outside. Going to have to come in. Tough break. Really a great guy, too. All these guys are just good, real racing gentlemen. But Johnny Parsons Jr. is special one, not in it for today, I'm afraid. Out for the afternoon.
But meanwhile, back up front, number 10, Steve Butler is challenging number 2, Brad Nossinger, for the lead. That is for the lead. The cars up in front will be lap traffic they'll have to contend with.
Oh, here comes Nossinger on the outside. Bliss hanging right with him. Jeff Gordon's fallen back a little bit. Here they come up on Brett Kading in one of the slower cars. He's not up to speed right now. He's kind of in the middle of the racetrack. Going to be interesting to see who tries to go where. Butler down low, the same way with Bliss, and they both got by Nossinger in that little jiggle there with Brett Kading trying to get out of the way, but he was sandwiched in the middle of everybody.
That's right. Nossinger certainly didn't do anything wrong there. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it opened up the opportunity for Butler and Mike Bliss to come around, and now Nossinger has to go back on the attack. Right now, let's go down to the pits with Brock.
How about Johnny Parsons Jr., who made a great run toward the front, got up into 4th, was running real good, and then all of a sudden it just came apart. What happened, John?
Well, we lost the power steering. I think the pump let go. We were going to win it. It felt real good. I was just sitting on the guys. Feel real confident with this little V6. Gene Nolan, the guy's been working hard all winter. We would have won her.
These things get a real handful without power steering, right?
Oh, yeah. And we're leaking fluid on the racetrack, so it's really unsafe. We're creating an unsafe situation, and you can't steer them, so I had to park it.
Oh, we're sorry. Yeah, good run.
Thank you, Brian.
Well, from the team standpoint, that's certainly less expensive than a blown engine. They can fix that for a couple of bucks. We're looking at Jeff Gordon currently in 4th. He started 3rd, so his progress has been to the rear so far for the defending champion here in this Silver Crown race in Phoenix.
Yeah, I got to correct myself here. I said most of them were big Chevy V8s, but there are a few GM V6s in this field. But the power plant of choice really remains the big V8s.
Oh, yeah, the development is still on with the V6s. And here's a battle for 5th. 26, Jim Keeker challenging Chuck Gurney, number 30, and he gets him.
Well, Jim Keeker started back in 7th spot, Steve, and fell back a little bit, but now seems to kind of got it all gathered together, and he is moving in on the leaders.
Well, another guy who's moving, and that is 69 Mike Bliss. He looks like he is reeling in number 10 Steve Butler. There you see the two of them. The second car in your picture is Mike Bliss.
And they have broken away from the pack. Knopfsinger, after that little, not a bobble, but trouble when he lost the lead, has fallen well back. So you got to wonder whether he's got a tire going out on him or something. But these two guys are really charging now. And look at Bliss, always able to work up a little bit higher than everybody else. And now I'm going to try Steve Butler on the outside, and maybe will he draft him down into turn number 1? Let's see. No, not enough speed coming off turn 4 to do it that way. But look at this. He goes up high through turn number 2, headed down toward the dog leg. Now he'll try him down low. That won't work, and Butler holds on to the lead.
A regular square dance going on between these two, Mike Bliss and Steve Butler. But in the pits, you were right, Brock, something wrong with the number 2 car. So wrong that Brad Knopfsinger, who led this race only moments ago, is now out of it. Stay with us. We'll be back to Phoenix. Back in Phoenix, where Steve Butler and Mike Bliss continue to bang on each other. They're running first and second, followed by Jeff Gordon a ways back. Jim Keeker, Chuck Gurney in the 5th spot. Number 6, Wally Pankratz, Russ Gamester, number 7, then Brent Gading, George Schneider, and Larry Dixon in that order. We are about 27 laps in right now.
And here are your leaders coming up on lap car 48, Gary Irvin. He signals them by on the inside. Butler down low. Here are your 3rd and 4th place cars. The white number 1 of Jeff Gordon and the white 26 of Jim Keeker, who's on a tear right now. Keeker challenging on the outside as they come off turn number 2. And now let's go down to the pits with Glenn Jarrett.
Pole sitter and race leader Brad Knopfsinger. Brad, you had a great run going there. What happened?
Well, it started slowing down just a little bit. I felt a bump, and I think it's when we had something explode in the drive line and it cut a fuel line.
Looks like you pretty much had things going your way out there. You had charged back to the front. Didn't look like anybody could do anything with you.
Well, I got a little bit of a bad start, but then once I got to working with the car a little bit, I got ahead of them, and the car was performing well. The SEC Consani car, it just performed absolutely great. I guess I was running our lifts a little too hard early.
Well, better luck next time.
Thank you.
Well, a piece of bad racing luck for Brad Knopfsinger. Right now, it doesn't appear anybody can run with this duo. Number 10, Steve Butler out in front. Number 69, Mike Bliss, who wants to replace him there.
Excellent racing by these two guys. Just no more than a couple of car lengths apart at max. And Bliss continues to work that high groove, but not successfully. Steve Butler holds them off as they circulate this very quick 1 mile oval here at Phoenix, Arizona. And Butler now down into turn number 2. Ooh, and Bliss bunts him a little bit in the nerf bar, and Butler got a little loose there for a second, but holds on no problem at this point. That is Wally Pankratz and Russ Gamester. And Gamester appears to be either losing some fuel or possibly a little smoke coming out of there. It's hard to tell from our vantage point, but Gamester gamely continues, as it were, but there's something, either fluid, looks like fluid, Steve, coming out of there.
Whatever it is, he's unaware of it. He is trying to take 6th place away from number 56, Wally Pankratz, the car immediately in front of him. Well, now it seems to have gone away. Maybe it only happens in the inertia of the turns. Here's our leaders again.
That is Butler and Bliss moving around the number 24 automobile, the lap car of Chip Thomas, who started back at 30th spot and not running up to speed with the leaders on this day. As Bliss down low, drafting attempt, coming down into turn number 1. They'll contest for it, but he gives way at the last second, and Butler holds on to the lead.
They almost made contact again. Mike Bliss has served notice to Butler with that little tap earlier and a near miss there that he better give way. And look at this, Bliss down low, and he makes it work. The car obviously running out of tires. Both of them are. You can see by the way they're moving around where they were welded to the pavement before.
So that duel finally is resolved in Mike Bliss's favor after he worked on Butler for 5 or 6 laps. And look at this, as often happens, once he gets by him, he opens out a pretty substantial lead. So it was clear that Steve Butler was doing a good job of holding off what was obviously a little quicker car. But look at this. Here comes the 26 car of Jim Keeker up to challenge Mike Butler. That white automobile has left Jeff Gordon, who he was running with for a while, well behind back in 4th place, and Jim Keeker is moving up to challenge Steve Butler for the 2nd spot. Jim Keeker started from 7th spot, sat back there for a while in the early stages of the race, wasn't much of a factor, and suddenly he is up amongst them and going to challenge one more time. High side, and he will take 2nd place coming off turn number 4. A great pass. He takes second from Steve Butler.
And watching his car in comparison to Butler, I think he's got more tires than anybody else. Brock, he laid back there. He ran his same line around the racetrack. He may have more rubber to deal with in the final laps here.
Well, it's very possible. He sure made a beautiful move on Steve Butler. A very difficult place to pass. And he just whistled around him up on top coming off turn number 4.
And now he's going to go for the lead. He is pulling it very rapidly on Mike Bliss, coming up ever so steadily.
There's the red 69 of the leader, Mike Bliss, the white 26 of Jim Keeker, who is reeling him in as they came off turn number 2 and went through the dogleg. Keeker made up maybe 5 or 6 car lengths. So look at him. He's right on the rear nerf bar of Mike Bliss. He's come like a shot, Steve, in the last few laps.
He sure has, and you can tell by the roll bar, those forward bars, as I showed you earlier on Jeff Gordon's car. That is a pretty contemporary Silver Crown car, and look at him go inside. They almost touch. Mike Bliss has his hands full with Jim Keeker. Keeker, who just kind of laid back, played possum for most of the race, is now center stage.
Okay, as they go down through turns 3 and 4, Keeker lost a little bit as they went down through the dogleg, but now he's right up on Bliss one more time. Takes a peek on the inside, decides no, that's not the move to make. But look at this, down low. Bliss got high, Keeker took advantage of it and grabs the lead.
A record crowd here at Phoenix, estimated at 37,000, are on their feet as Jim Keeker has passed Mike Bliss for the lead. And I believe there again, Bliss doesn't have enough tire left to keep that car where he wants it.
Well, he got way up high into turn number 1, and Mike could not hold off Keeker. Keeker running really, really well with that white 26 as he moves away from Mike Bliss now, pulls out maybe 3 or 4 car lengths. Bliss comes back at him down through the dogleg. Let's see, Bliss down low. He's going to make a move on him. Can he make it work? Off turn number 4, we'll see. But Keeker stays high, and the car, as you say, is working up on top of this racetrack, and that's what the difference was there. Is he withstood that challenge of Mike Bliss.
Keeker seems to be able to put his car anywhere he wants to. Not so Bliss. And he also appears, Brock, to not be trying to extend this lead. If he can just keep Bliss at bay, he'll be happy.
Well, he's moving in on a couple of lap cars. Be interesting to see what happens here. Keeker moves around on the high side. Let's not forget now, Steve, that Keeker is in one of the V6s. That's a Bob East V6 Chevy. Bliss back there on the final lap in one of the 355 small block V8. So right now, the V6 is dominating here.
And Keeker, who only ran 1 race in all of 1991 at IRP, where he was 3rd on the half-mile pavement, is leading here at the Silver Crown opener in Phoenix. The V6 is afforded a bit of a weight advantage, and he takes advantage of that. Probably, as I said before, had more tires due to the lighter weight of that V6 Chevrolet automobile. What a fine job for Jim Keeker, and a great race for number 69, Mike Bliss. A lot of fellas led and had problems. These two, well, when they got to the front, they stayed there. Stay with us. We'll be back to talk to them, and of course, we'll have the big modifieds coming up later on. Phoenix, where half of our racing show today is complete. The Silver Crowns. Well, here's the top 10. Jim Keeker outsmarted him, maybe outdrove him a little bit. Mike Bliss was right there. Steve Butler, Jeff Gordon, and Wally Pankratz, the top 5. 6 through 10, well, it looks something like this. Chuck Gurney, who had some problems. Car was very strong. George Snyder, the veteran, finished 7th. Leland McSpadden in 8th. Larry Dixon 9th, and Robbie Stanley in the 10th position. Right now, let's go down to victory lane. Brock Yates is with a man who's got to be really tickled with himself. What a surprise.
All ready? Is he make up? We all finished now? Congratulations, Jim. Great show.
That was great.
You just kind of poked your way up there. All of a sudden you were there and just kind of picked them off one by one.
Well, we got on the start, Eric Gordon lost a motor or something down here and won. And I was just getting ready to pass him, going around him on the outside, and he had to go up and didn't leave me much room, and I lost a few spots there to some pretty tough guys. And I didn't really know I was leading it till about 3 laps ago.
These guys weren't telling you from the pits. They were cheering you all away. I thought you could probably see them from here.
I couldn't see much. It's pretty much a blur from out there.
I would imagine. Great show. Super race.
It was a lot of fun. We'll be back next year.
I hope so. Congratulations.
Thanks.